Okay, so crisis averted. So this is part two. So yeah, they didn't want to grow. They it's like I came, like I was saying, I came here to be abundant. I came here to see the world, to see like different parts of the world and stuff, to learn how to use my body the way it's supposed to be, to be fluid with my body, to be healthy, to be happy, to know what happiness is. Is it overrated? To be in love, to be loved, to give my all to someone, for them to give it to reciprocate and give their all to me. And my man is my best friend, and I wanted that. I still do. They didn't want that. They wanted to stay unhappy. And they'd be like, I didn't want to stay unhappy. Yeah, but you didn't do the necessary work to be happy. It's like happy, I feel, and maybe this is part of my problem. I feel like happiness is a choice, learning how to live a life that you want is a choice. You have to choose it, and then you have to pay a price for it. It's not free. It's not a free thing. And the work that I did on myself, and I'm still doing on myself, is what's making me understand and value what I get. The person that I get now, that they love me no matter what I look like. Eyebrows, no eyebrows, fingernails, no fingernails, you know, at home in shorts and a freaking sweatshirt. They love my hair out, they love my hair done, they love when I'm glammed up, they love when I'm not glammed up. They just love me. They see me. That person comes with a price. They come with a price. Getting a person like me comes with a price. You got to give up some shit, and not everybody wants to. You got to give up some shit. You got to give up childish ways. You got to give up not being able to communicate with the person. You got to give up like not taking other people's feelings into account. I was like that. You think I'm bad now? You should have seen me before the work. You think I'm not a game now? I was an abused child. By the time I became an adult, I was angry. Everybody was getting it. And it was during the 90s where gangster rap and all that other stuff came out. Oh my God, I was so angry. And I had to grow and learn out of that. And the men that I was with, they didn't want to. And that's when I realized, you're not him. You're not my person. You're not, I didn't know what a person was until now. But back then I was just like, I'm not supposed to be with you. And I looked at them and I'm like, and both of them, I know the days where I can pinpoint both days when I decided I was going to get a divorce. Because I was both times, they sat in front of me and I clearly saw who they were, not who I pretended they were, not who they pretended to be, not what my fantasy since I was a little girl was like. None of that stuff. I saw them for who they were, and they weren't going to be able to make the journey. Does that make sense? You are around a lot of people that cannot make this journey with you. And if you don't let them go, or at least space yourself from them. Maybe you don't need to let them go completely, but if you don't space yourself from them, you might not continue the journey, or you may stay at a level longer than you're supposed to, and that's almost as bad as not moving, because you start looking around going, why are we doing this? Because I used to do that all the time. I used to be like, going to the supermarket isn't going out. You understand? Going to Target isn't isn't a night out, isn't a date night. Going to sitting down and watching bootleg CDs isn't a romantic evening. It can be. Don't get it twisted. It can be. It can be, but it's not when it was happening to me. And I wanted more. I want to travel. I want to get out of here. I want to get out of here, but I want to fix here so when I come back, I'm happy to be here until our next adventure. And not my next adventure outside of where I live, because every day I'm having my own adventures, and I know that life is going to cost me the one that I have, and it's going to cost me a lot of the things that I hold on to and identities that I had, like the fixer, the helper, the counselor, all those things. I have to shed those skins because I can't have that when I go where I'm going. I don't fucking know where we're going, but I know I'm going somewhere, and I'm still processing how that's going to work and how that works. But that's why I got a divorce. I got a divorce because they didn't want to grow. And there wasn't enough words in the English language for me to make them understand why we should. So I was just like, the only thing I can do is leave. That was the only thing I could do. The only thing I could do was leave, because I know for a fact where I am right now, I wouldn't have got there with these men. I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have got there with these men. I've had people come into my life for a very limited time and change my life in ways that it is, if I explain it to you, you would think I was batshit crazy, and so that's how I know the difference. I know when I'm with an energy or in a connection or connected to someone where I just keep going higher, and where I was when I was with a physical person and I'm sitting there and we're sitting in dirt, we're sitting in filth, we're sitting in garbage, and I'm not talking metaphorically either. We had a carpet in Rosedale that if anything, any food dropped on that carpet, do not eat it, just throw it out. That's how bad the carpet was. And he was home all the time. He didn't work. So it's like, why does the house look like this? You understand? So I know the difference. I know how the feeling feels, and I couldn't get where I am right now with them. I couldn't. And it's not even about just physical things and things I created. It's about my inner work. Like my soul journey and my dharma and my soul work is to be a light, to go through, which fucking sucks, but go through shit so that you have a living example from someone you can trust. Because from what I'm starting to understand from other people, a lot of people aren't trustworthy. From what I understand from my own experience, a lot of people aren't trustworthy. Everything I'm telling you is true. But from my side, no, the other person probably has their own side. I'm not saying I'm completely right. I'm saying what I experience. So that's how that works. But I left because they didn't want to grow. They didn't want to grow, and they wanted to hold me in place. And I have stuff to do. I have people to save. If I would have stayed in any of those relationships, I would have been miserable. I would have been miserable, but I would have had to pretend like I was okay, which in itself is sorrow. You know, if you have to pretend that you're okay, you need to look at why. Because you shouldn't have to pretend that you're okay. If you're not okay, you need to say something. And the people who love you, they may fight with you, They may argue, they may get defensive, they may feel judged, but the people who really care about you, eventually you guys will level out and you'll grow and work it out and work it together, and come up with protocols or plans on how to avoid it, but I got a divorce because they didn't want to move forward. They didn't. And my motto, just keep moving forward. All right. I love you guys. Stay blessed. Deuces. And you might see me again. And I'm out.